All right, let's talk about a future that's, well, it's moving from science fiction to something a lot closer to reality. Thanks to incredible advances in simulated biology, we're getting closer and closer to having total control over our own bodies. And this isn't just about curing diseases anymore. We're talking about fundamentally rewriting what it even means to be human. So that brings us to the big question, the one I want you to really think about. If you had the keys to your own genetic kingdom and there were zero limits, what would you choose to become? For, all of human history, this was just a fun thought experiment. Now, it's becoming a very real dilemma we might all have to face. Okay, so what does this total control actually mean? We are moving way beyond just fixing what's broken. You've got technologies like Google's AlphaFold that are letting us map the very building blocks of life. Now, of course, the first goals are amazing: cure cancer, stop Alzheimer's. But the endgame, the ultimate destination, could be something called longevity escape velocity. That's the point where for every year you live, science can add more than a year to your life. So it's not just about living longer, it's about taking complete command of our biological destiny. And this really captures a classic trap we fall into with new tech. In the short term, the changes might feel slow, like they're not really affecting our daily lives. But the long-term impact, the species-level consequences of truly mastering our own biology, oh, those are going to be revolutionary on a scale that's, frankly, pretty hard to even wrap our heads around right now. So, if this power becomes real, where could it actually take us? What do we become? Well, luckily for us, science fiction has been our playground for decades, kicking these ideas around. So let's use it as a kind of roadmap to explore three potential post-human paths. When you boil it down, the changes really fall into two big buckets. On one hand, you've got the purely biological path. That means changing our DNA, basically hijacking our own evolution. And on the other hand, you've got fusing our biology with technology, either through cybernetic parts or, well, by leaving our bodies behind completely for a digital life. And these break down into three major forks in the road. First, there's that pure genetic evolution. Just think of the guild navigators in Dune, who changed themselves so much they weren't even recognizable as human anymore. Second, you have cybernetic integration, the classic man meets machine, taken to its absolute extreme by the Borg in Star Trek. And finally, a digital existence, where we upload our minds. And this one often taps into that deep-seated fear of becoming a ghost in the machine, something less than what we were. But here's the catch. Every single one of these incredible possibilities carries a massive risk. And it's not a physical one, it's philosophical. In our quest to become more, could we accidentally delete the very thing we're trying to save? Could we erase our own consciousness, the actual you that is you? So the first danger is something called the branching problem. Think about the teleporters in Star Trek, right? They scan you, destroy your original body, and then reassemble a perfect copy somewhere else. Now, that new person has all your memories, feels exactly like you, but the original you were just vaporized. It's not transportation, it's a copy and delete operation. The question is, are you willing to be the one who gets deleted? Okay, if the branching problem wasn't unsettling enough, then there's qualia fading. This isn't a sudden death, it's a slow, quiet disappearance. Imagine upgrading your brain, bit by bit. With every little change, the machine part takes over a little more, and your subjective experience, your inner voice, the light that is you, it just fades away. And the worst part? The new thing that's left still thinks it's you, and the original you might not even realize it's happening until it's too late. And this quote, this just drives home the absolute horror of that idea. It's a scenario where the real you is trapped, fading away, unable to even scream for help as you're being replaced from the inside out. I mean, that sounds like literal hell. It's a terrifying thought, and it's right at the heart of this whole debate. So you're probably thinking, if the risks are this terrifying, why on earth would anyone ever choose to go down these paths? Well, the tough answer is, we might not actually have a choice. There are some really powerful forces that could push us to change whether we want to or not. There are two big pressures pushing us. First, there's social pressure. It's based on this idea called the Red Queen hypothesis, which basically says you have to run as fast as you can just to stay in the same place. If everyone around you is upgrading their intelligence or their lifespan, you'll have to do the same thing just to keep up. Second, there's environmental pressure. To become a real multiplanetary species, well, our current biology just isn't going to cut it. I mean, just think about it. To live on Mars, you'd have to deal with about a third of Earth's gravity and way, way higher radiation. Interstellar space, even worse. Our bodies evolved for the African savanna, not the vacuum of space. To survive out there, we'll probably need to hijack our own biology, engineering ourselves to handle cosmic rays and adapt to totally new worlds. It stops being a choice and starts being about survival. And this all brings us to the final and maybe the most important point. The journey to becoming something posthuman won't be one giant leap. It's going to happen through a series of small, logical, and what seem like perfectly harmless steps, each one taking you just a little bit further away from who you used to be. Let's just play this out. Say you're 60 and you decide to reverse your biological age back to 18. Totally rational choice, right? Great for your health. But now you have the wisdom of a 60-year-old in an 18-year-old's body. Your whole perspective on life just shifted. And from this new point of view, maybe improving your eyesight or getting a little taller seems like the next logical step. And then another one, and another. And that is the core of it, right there. Every single change you make alters the person who's making the next decision. You aren't the same person after that first upgrade. Your goals, your values, your entire worldview, it shifts bit by bit. You're constantly resetting what feels rational from a brand new state of being. So we're left with this final kind of haunting question. Each individual step you take on that journey might feel perfectly logical, perfectly rational. But after 100 of them, or 1,000 of them, are you still you? We're going to leave you with that one to think about. Thanks for tuning in.